Hey, how's it going? Rich from Elk Endeavors here. Hey, tonight I wanted to talk about happiness and searching for happiness. And it's one of the things that I really think is so important to your psychology and the things that you do in your life. So before I get started, though, I wanted to thank you all for watching all my videos. I really appreciate it. I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel. Drop me a thumbs up. Let me know how I'm doing in the comments section. All those things help me to build my channel, which builds my reach, which helps me to help more people, which ultimately is my goal and my mission with this channel is to help as many people as possible become awesome affiliate marketers and entrepreneurs, and by teaching and learning and trying to documenting my journey through the things that I'm doing as an affiliate marketer and affiliate entrepreneur myself. So with that said, I do want to talk about, like I said, I want to talk about happiness, okay, and the pursuit of happiness. And when I talk about that, one of the things that, and if you go back in my channel, you'll see a lot of videos about mindset and making sure that you have the correct mindset in order to be successful. And if you think about all the different ways, like Napoleon Hill talks about the way that you have a mindset, and Earl Nightingale, Tony Robbins, any all the anybody who is a motivational speaker, they talk about how you have it's a positive mindset, but it's not positive in that, like Tony Robbins uses the example of looking at a garden and saying, and just looking at it and saying, there's no weeds, no, there's no weeds, there's no weeds, when there's clearly weeds sitting there, right? You have to work at the happiness, right? You have to work, you have to pick out the weeds and take those away from the actual garden, right? And so and the reason I want to talk about this is actually because I was just on my way. I had some other stuff that I'll talk about over the next few days. But I was just on the way home from a basketball game. I got to go see the Harlem Wizards, which, if you've never seen them, they're I think they're sort of like the new Globetrotters. Not new, but I don't know if the Globetrotters either retired or they don't work anymore, or they don't exist anymore. But the Harlem Wizards are a similar team where they come and they do tricks and do basketball tricks, and they have a lot of fun with the audience and things like that. And at any rate, they were able to come to my community, and I took my kids to see them, and so it was a lot of fun. And on my way home, my son was asking if I turned on my a John Prine album on my phone, like an album on my phone, and he was asking for the sad song, and I just turned it on so that they would go to sleep in the car. Yeah, and so he was asking for the sad song, and I think he wanted to go to sleep, but he's four. So I was like, what song are you talking about? And he was like, the sad song, and I really couldn't figure it out. And then I finally figured out that it was just a slow song that I think would like sort of soothe him a little bit. But at any rate, my like what it made me think of was like my past and my like the way I grew up and the way I came up, as a kid and as a high schooler, and in college, and even when I was in the army. I was always listening to sad stuff. I was either listening to very sad music, or very angry music. So I was a huge Guns N' Roses fan. And that's a very angry band. I love them. I love them still. I love what they did back in the 80s and 90s. I haven't seen them since then, but like back in the late '80s, early '90s, I was all about Guns N' Roses, and the Black Crowes. The Black Crowes aren't angry, but the Guns N' Roses certainly was, and everybody that sort of surrounded Guns N' Roses, like Metallica and Motley Crue, and there are all these feuds that were going on amongst them, and it's just a lot of anger, right? And then there was also a lot of sad songs I listened to, the sad music that I listened to. And I remember there's one time when I was actually when I was in the army, and there was a band, I forget who it was that played the song "Love Hurts," and I don't even remember who initially wrote that song, but there's a song called "Love Hurts," and it's got to be like the most depressing song you could possibly imagine. It was just like people saying "Love Hurts." Actually, you know what? I think it was Graham Parsons, and the Flying Burrito Brothers, I think. But at any rate, see, I'm happy now, like now that I have a different mindset about this. But like "Love Hurts" was a really really sad song, as you can imagine. And I think I've thought about this before, but not like I haven't thought about it in a while. And certainly not since I started affiliate marketing in the Success Challenge. But like how sad like I was and how angry I was, because I was, and I wonder, now that I'm mature enough to admit it, that, I wonder if it was because of the music, or if the music had something to do with it. Like if I was constantly listening to angry music and constantly listening to sad music, was that what made me angry, and was that what made me sad, or help? It certainly didn't help the situation. And I almost know that for a fact, that it didn't help the situation. But I really want to turn my kids away from wanting to hear the sad song, right? Like, I mean, Leo was asking for a sad song. What he meant was a like a soothing song, like a slower song. But the fact that he was saying the sad song, it really kind of hit me, because that's something that I want desperately for him not to do, right? Is to purposely listen to sad music and make himself sad, or purposely listen to angry music, and my kids make themselves angry, on purpose. And that, that's something that in affiliate marketing and entrepreneurship, and in life, like I've learned, and now I'm 46 now. And I've learned finally, that like you can't live like that. It doesn't work. Things don't work out the way that you want them to work out when you're sad or when you're angry. You have to be happy, and you have to roll with the punches, and realize that you're not your failures. You're not your, you learn from those things, and you go and you move on. And like I have my psycho-cybernetics book here. If you've, I think I've talked, I mean, I know I've talked about this on my channel before, but this is this book is so fascinating to me, because it really talks about how you can change what you believe in what you do, like my self identity, the way I identify myself as a person, is of a successful person. And I lean back on the successes, like the things that made me successful, and I try to figure out like how, like what were the things that made me successful in that moment. And mimicking those, but at the same time, like stopping, like taking the negative feedback, and learning from it, and never doing that again, but forgetting about it. That's the big thing, right? So like if you were to try to, like if you were to try to turn on, like change a light bulb, not change a light bulb, but change a light fixture, right? And you forgot to turn off the electricity to the light, to the wires. So you reach up and you get shocked, like really bad. You're not going to do that again, right? And you're not, but the important two things is that you're, like you don't think of that as like the failure, and like the definition of your ability to fix something in the house. But you also don't, you also like forget about that, right? Like there's no reason to remember that pain, because it doesn't help anything. And so that's really, like that's the kind of positive mindset that you have to have. It's not a matter of like ignoring it and saying like that didn't happen, because it did, right? You like electrocuted yourself. But you've learned from it, and you've learned from your mistakes. So you learn from it, you forget about it, and you move on to success, right? And that's what psycho-cybernetics is all about. And that's why, like, I'm really adamant about making sure that my kids don't seek out sadness, right? Or they don't seek out negativity, and they ignore it. And I'll finish with, like, I was listening to the Hardcore Closer podcast this morning. If you haven't heard that, you got to go listen to it. It's awesome. But Ryan Stewman was talking about how, like, you got to get rid of, like, if you hang out with people that bring you down, and if you hang out with people that don't, encourage you, and don't, and they're like mooching off you, or they're poo-pooing your dreams and stuff like that, you gotta jettison, you gotta let them go. And as painful and as hard as that is, it's a necessary part of life. So all that stuff, all that is to say is to be happy, to go about, searching and seeking happiness. And it'll find you. What you focus on and what you look for is what you will find. And if you look for negativity, you're going to find negativity. If you look to try, if you're looking to, if you're looking to not hit a deer, on the way home, a deer's going to jump out and you're going to have to avoid it, right? Whereas if you're just ignoring the fact that, well, maybe that's not the best analogy, but I won't try another one. It's late and I'm tired. But I think it's important that like what you get what you focus on, right? So that's what I wanted to talk about tonight. Was just avoiding sadness and like trying really hard not to like never trying to find sadness on purpose, but certainly trying to find happiness. And like you what you look for is what you'll find, and what you focus on is what will grow. So focus on your business; it will grow. Search for happiness; you'll find happiness. Search for a good business, and you'll find it, right? And so that's what I want to leave you with. I appreciate you listening to me tonight, and I thank you very much for watching my channel. Drop me a thumbs up if you like what I have to say. Comment, subscribe to my channel would be great, and I look forward to talking to you tomorrow. Thanks a lot. Oops, sorry about that.